After taking in these beautiful sights, Brian went to meet Shelton Johnson to learn the history of buffalo soldiers in the park.
Sheldon, I've done a little bit of research on buffalo soldiers, but for people who don't know anything about them, tell me about where they came from and how they came here to the park.
Yeah, most of the buffalo soldiers who served here, and I should say that they probably didn't think of themselves as buffalo soldiers, they thought of themselves as a 9th Cavalryman or a 24th Infantryman. But in general, when you look at the muster rolls, they're from the South, they're from the deep South, they're from Mississippi, they're from Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Louisiana. They called them buffalo soldiers because the hair on the heads of these soldiers was very much like the hair at the nape of the neck of the bison.
So they were the 9th Cavalry, and what was the time frame at that point in time?
1903, 1904.
So how did they come to Yosemite then?
They were sent here because since 1891, soldiers had been brought up to Yosemite to protect the park.
So now you've created this character for your program.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Now that would be Elise Bowman. Elise Bowman was just a name on a muster roll that I received from the National Archives. I didn't know much about him. I was just, you notice my voice is changing as I'm just talking about Elise? But I'm looking down the muster rolls and I'm reading name after name. 450, 500 soldiers who served in Yosemite and Sequoia National Park, buffalo soldiers. And I see that name. So the name spoke to me from that muster roll, from that piece of paper. And I had these images that were evoked. I had these thoughts and emotions that were evoked. And to create a character, you have to believe in it. Not as a character, but as a person. And so I just saw that name and it spoke to me. And then I've been speaking for that name and for that person, that life that I've imagined, to the public ever since.
As a writer, musician, poet, and park ranger, Shelton Johnson has recreated the spirit of the buffalo soldiers who protected this park through the persona of Elise Bowman. In Shelton's program, he goes to great lengths to breathe life back into this individual who once served in the 24th Infantry and speaks today for all buffalo soldiers. From details right down to the brass buttons on his coat and his U.S. Army belt buckle, Shelton takes pride in preparing his military uniform, getting every aspect right before presenting himself to the public as Elise Bowman. He sometimes plays his flute as a precursor before he engages his audience, teaching about what it was like to serve in the ranks over 100 years ago as a buffalo soldier in a national park.